don't know if this is gonna work. This has been really weird. Check, check, 1, 2. Excellent connection. Says live. Let's see if it's showing up. All right, I think I am. I don't know anymore. I will find out when some people come on if I'm actually live or not. I don't know what happened earlier. I tried to go on, but it said there was already an active session, so I don't know about that. I mean, it could be, but um, I just checked the stream like an hour ago and there were people commenting on it, so it wasn't showing up as live, but what do I know? Technology. Let's see now. Yeah, just making sure this is working. It says live. I'd like to say hello to everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry if it glitched out earlier. I was trying to log in, so I don't know. I may have killed the chat too. I don't know. So that was weird what happened there. It seemed like it all of a sudden continued last night's session. So I don't know about that. That was kind of weird. I don't know if it was just cache issues on my side or what, but I think it's cleared now. So yeah, still just waiting to say hello here to everyone. I guess it was a glitch because I don't think I had like 240 viewers live. So I was a little concerned there. Yeah, so there must have been something weird about that. So I really hate computers sometimes. Um, yeah, 240 people live, that would have been something. Um, so just waiting and saying hello to everyone. Again, I don't know if this is working. It still says, oh, now I've got a warning, but I think it's okay. Today, right now, it is, oh my goodness, 9:34, I guess. And today's actually it was actually really cold where I live in northern Canada. Oh my goodness, it was like 10 degrees with rain. It was awful, awful actually. So, yeah, I just find it curious that I don't think anyone's logged in, so I don't even know if I'm actually live here. We'll see how this goes. Um, just want to say, just taking the time here before I get all into it here. Um, Usually someone pops in the chat and tells me everything is fine, but that hasn't happened yet, so I'm really am scratching my head. After seeing that said that I had like 240 viewers, that's a little odd. Um, if so, oh my goodness, maybe I should have monetized that feed. But anyways, um, yeah. Oh, one current viewer. Maybe I am live. We'll see in a moment. Usually the chat starts picking up. Gonna find out what's going on one way or another here. Because I really failed to see that I had like 240 people in like 2 minutes of testing it here. So, but yeah, it's very curious. I don't know if it's on my side. I see like one viewer keeps popping in and out, so I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Um, I really don't know if this is actually working, believe it or not. I've been on, it says for 4 minutes now, and there's zero interactions. So, oh, there's one like, so I guess I am live. Just sorry, everyone. It's been a really weird night here with my system trying to get it going. Um, I'm just gonna test the chat here to see if it's actually working. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So I guess that's working now. Again, I'm sorry for the weird intro here. It was just really weird because I tried testing it earlier, like maybe 15 minutes ago, and then it said, I don't know why, it said I was already streaming, but that's very unlikely with like 200 and some viewers. So if those viewers would all be here, they would all be back, right, telling me where did I go. So I think that was a glitch because someone would tell me in the chat. So yeah, that was probably just a history from yesterday's session here. So again, just taking the time to say hello to everyone and waiting for people to say hello to usuals to come in. So yeah, if it's just usually 5 minutes of talking, usually someone's in by now. I see there is some minimal interaction, so it must be working. So I'm just going to wait a little bit more and just keep it going here. So yeah, I guess it is going to one viewer, so one chat rate and one like. Again, it's just really weird night. There we go. Hello, can't wait to see cardboard in action. Nice. I was just waiting for someone to go in the chat to make sure this was actually working because I was trying to get on earlier and it was acting a little funny on me. I think it was remembering yesterday's session. So yeah, as far as cardboard, yesterday I painted one. I'm going to paint another one here momentarily with the conductive paint. And this is basically one of my electrodes here. And there's another one I made. I started yesterday, and I did the plate, the cardboard conductive plate is dried, so I poured them silicone, the silicone, the sodium metasilicate, sorry, sodium metasilicate gel in there. So it's working really well as it is. I'm waiting for it all to dry up. But now I have another idea for another cell here, so I'm gonna paint this one up. It's just it makes a big mess. Yesterday I made a really big mess. I basically ruined even these ones here. I'm ruining clothes with this conductive paint, believe it or not. So yeah, and we were talking about high Z and low Z coil loops and the resistance and the windings here. That was good, and people were really interested in that sort of thing too. So I'm just wondering if my connection is actually dropping or something here, because it is saying that my stream is in a lower bit rate than is recommended, but I don't know if it's working fine. I think it is. I mean, um, someone's interacting, and it seems okay on my end. You know what? I never had the idea. Maybe I could go ahead and actually watch myself on the tablet and see what's going on here. So if I go Joel Legacy on YouTube, maybe I'll be able to see what's actually going on. There it is, live. If I click this, ah, it is working. There we go. I should have thought of that before. So it seems to be working well on my end here. There it is. A delay of about maybe 10 seconds, but it's not so bad actually. And it's counting my view now, so okay, it's working. I'm just wondering where everyone is tonight. It is not that late, 9:41. Just waiting for some people to show up. Um, yeah, so yeah, this is cool. I'm just looking at myself here. It's like a monitor for the stream here. It's one thing seeing it over the control panel, but I also like seeing it what YouTube is showing, right? Because sometimes I wonder, do I have enough bandwidth or something to make it back to YouTube servers? But I guess it's working fine. So yeah, just sticking around a little bit, waiting for some people. Again, I find that kind of remarkable. 2 views. Must be a really busy summer night. I guess that's only around. I actually saw the map of all of North America today for the weather, and it's all super heat wave summer all around. And then there's this little strip, this little area in all of North America, and I happen to be in that little area where it's really, really cold, naturally speaking, right? So I actually had to turn the heat up this morning because it was only like 8 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius outside. It was like 17 degrees in the house. So, wow, yeah. With that said, yeah, I'm back. I was just wondering what was going on. I tried to go on about, I guess, half an hour, well, maybe 15 minutes ago, and it was acting really silly. I guess it was the cache. Like I had like 240 viewers on my stream, which would make more sense if it's like how many viewed it from last night and the saved, right? Versus live. Usually live, I get about, 10, 15 people, and then the rest come in later. They watch the stream after, which is totally fine, by the way, because they can interact, with the comments. So I hope you're doing well, Pika, and everyone else there just logging in. Feeling a bit better now that there are comments. So I was just worried that this actually wasn't working, but now it's working. So, and I guess I don't feel so bad about the wet cold that others are saying. But honestly, I saw the map and it's like a very, very narrow area where it's very cold. You must be stuck in that path as well. So yeah, high Z loops. So here's one of the electrodes that's been about almost a year old. And of course, if you were to short it out on its own, it 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 basically dies and then takes a few moments, maybe 10, 15 seconds to rebuild, and then it's good to go again, right? Well, if you pulse it through a high Z, it's like sipping off the field rather than collapsing it, like I showed through the power supply in some earlier videos where when I dead shorted, it's like 1 milliamp draw, which is like almost not even feeling it at all, right? But what's nice about using the high Z of a loop is it leaves the potential mostly alone, but drops the current quite a bit. So, which is what we want for some projects like this device here. But the thing is, after like one or two pulses after sending it through, like I'm trying to do is bring it up to very high voltage, right? But setting it through the low Z side of a high voltage, you're basically dead shorting it. So it's that timing for recovery that becomes too long and impractical if I gotta wait, 5 to 10 seconds for every pulse for this to re-gauge itself, even though I do get back a charge. It's too slow, it's not very practical, right? But if we gate the current such as it has to offer, maybe 1 milliamp, well, that's if it doesn't have like a high Z loop, that's actually like almost a dead short, which is very electrostatic. It's not very much, but I don't want to use that. I don't want to drain what it does have to offer, right? So, but you do have to pulse the low Z side to get the high voltage on the high Z side, right? So my way around that is you take a second small transformer and you wire the primary, one side of the primary goes to one side of the secondary, and you treat it all as one loop here. So that creates your high Z. So you put it in series with the low Z of your high voltage, then I can pulse off of anything I want, and the source, like Tom Bearden would say, like the dipole, you're not collapsing the dipole every time you do a discharge. So I do have the scope connected right now to the high voltage side of this transformer, as you can see over there. And here is see, it's disconnected. But when I pulse it through the high Z system feeding the low Z side into the high voltage, you'll see it there go through. See, I'm just spiking it manually there, and you see it on the scope, those big spikes, right? That's on the high voltage side. Now that's just me switching it. But you get over 42 to 52 volts there just by me doing this. And see, I can keep doing it over and over and I still get it, right? Because I'm not actually collapsing every impulse like I would if this was directly through the low Z side, which would collapse my dipole every time I short it out. this way here to the high Z, I'm not collapsing it. So what can you do with this, right? Well, this will charge a capacitor at higher voltages now, right? So this is building up your gradient difference. Like going like this, whichever way, I'm just doing it crudely there with my hand to show you. But this could charge a capacitor. That capacitor could be automatic through some SCR at a set trigger. It can discharge into a coil, and that's a very sudden, sharp. You see what I'm getting at is you set up several of these, and you can mimic AC on the secondary of another system at much higher volt impulse, more like, again, Tesla's impulse technology. So this is just a continuation of that. So basically, just a little transformer. I'm using both sides. So one side of the secondary is going to one side of the primary, feeding it as a series loop just to get the high Z factor from it. Because again, there's a dilemma here. I want high voltage, but I don't want to collapse the dipole through the low Z side because that's that's low resistance. It'll basically short out our electret capacitor over here. We don't want to short it out. So through the high Z system, it's just sipping off of it. Yet it still triggers that displacement that the coil can interact with here on the secondary, which could then charge a high voltage devices. Then you have that gradient difference, let's say when you're at 100 volts versus 100, right? And then go on and on and on like that. Again, just a crude example of that, but just to show. And on the side here, like yesterday, I was building the some power cells here, painting cardboard with conductive paint. I got another one to do here. Hopefully, I won't make a mess like I did the first time. The first time was actually awful. So this is what I was going to work on tonight because I have another idea for another kind of cell that I want to test. But again, gotta condition this one here. So I just wanted to say hello to everyone here and log in live. And again, I'm sorry if the intro was a little weird. I wasn't sure if I was actually getting through because I think I got back in a cache session and it was recording that I was live. And I had the preview and it said like 240 people were watching. And I'm like, that's odd, right? For me anyways. I mean, maybe one day I'll be that popular, but for now, that would be more like a day after a live feed, right? So that again, sometimes glitches happen. So here I am, this might be an empty bottle here, but I'm just painting this with the conductive paint for my next power cell, which I'm going to give you more details tomorrow probably once. And I did test a sodium metasilicate one and it's working well. It's putting out about 1.4 volts, which is around where I expected to. The large surface area is to try and give it more capacitance. That's why I have it over there on such a big plate, right? So here I am being an artist with this conductive paint on cardboard for a different kind of cell. I'm going to try something. What I miss is my hot plate. I used to have a hot plate, when I need to melt down chemicals and things like that. That wasn't like the oven because the stove is like for cooking like real food. I wanted to isolate both. And I cannot find my hot plate. I might actually have to buy another one, which is unfortunate because part of my next project involves melting something and heat. And no, it's not wax, but yeah, same idea, and then letting it cool and harden. But when it's not like for food, I don't like using, around where I can handle food and such. So the hot plate was perfect, but disappeared. It went. So maybe it's from storage and someone took off with it. I don't know. But I looked in the communal storage where my boxes are and I cannot find it. Nowhere. So yeah, a little bummed out about that because it was a really nice hot plate that that I was using exactly for this when I had experiments. I even have the bowls and everything here. That's I use just for this kind of stuff. That's isolated from my food, naturally. Um, yeah, power cells. There's always something fun with power cells. Um, well, I don't know if you want to call these power. I guess it depends in what context, right? These ones here, I like calling the PEG cells power cells because they're more like a kind of hybrid Zamboni pile. While the sodium metasilicate is more so like an electrode, more of a capacitor thing, right? Which naturally, if you do it right with two dissimilar metal, you could exploit some similar effects. So, use anything you can. But just some people would argue and say, this is not a power cell, it's a capacitor. Okay, tomato, whatever, right? I don't want to argue with people, but you're always going to have that one person who says, it's a capacitor, nothing different. Okay, so we're building capacitors. Maybe that'll make them happy. We're building capacitors and we're fine tuning the dielectric component. How does that sound? Is that a better technical definition for you? There we go. So I still got to paint the other side, which I hate doing this because this is where I make the mess. If I had, you know what? I'm not using my hands. Aha. And then I remember it stick last time, but that's okay because I repaint over the spot. It was only like a one or two little spots that stuck, and yeah, it was no big deal to paint over it. Well, the sodium metasilicate has interesting properties, and if you mix it, I haven't mentioned this. This is another experiment. There's so much to try, but I have it right here. If you mix it with the alum powder, then it becomes slightly piezoelectric. So now I'm sure that with that word, I got a few minds going with that one. But yeah, I mean, but you don't want to add too much because then it might attract too much moisture, right? So it's to try and find that fine balance of all the materials and minerals and elements. I'm trying and get as much as I can out of this one here. I think I'm pretty well done with this because this stuff is pretty expensive, right? So I'm trying to use as much as I can. I don't want to waste bottles here. But I think I'm pretty well done with this one here. Oh, still a little dab there. Thing is better than nothing. So yeah, this is for a second cell that I'm going to try, not with sodium made of silicate. It's something else. I was looking for my hot plate so I could do it in here. So I don't want to use my oven and be near my food with this stuff naturally, right? Kind of an interesting style of cooking. Now I'm banging on it. I don't want to make it stick on this side too much. So that's what's happening here. My cardboard tends to warp on itself, so that's why I'm trying to do this quickly so it doesn't more on one side than the other kind of deal. So let's see if this one here, I think I'm done with this one. Oh, there's a little bit. This one, so two of them, garbage already. Wow. Okay. Oh, this one's good. Nice. So this is conductive paint, by the way, for anyone who's wondering. Carbon-based. So I'm just making sure the sides, as I need the contact on both sides. This is my electrode plate acting as, even though it's cardboard. And what I like about the aluminum foil, well, this isn't really foil, but it's pretty solid, right? It doesn't corrode that easily, so it's really compatible, what I'm getting at, with ambient moisture, like some other metals can get, especially with these, what some may consider a galvanic reaction, to say it quite simply. Um, Nobody wants corrosion, so I find that the aluminum is a pretty good candidate for that, generally speaking. Second in line is magnesium, but it's much more reactive. I find it's very, depending on what you use it for. Great with PEG, but I tried it with the alum, and there's a fizz, there's a right away a very strong um, chemical reaction, and it actually starts eating into the magnesium, which is not very good, right? So magnesium, I get a bit more of a potential difference. It's a really good negative. It's a really good anode, but very reactive naturally, right? Because of its position on the electron scale, mega electron volts. So yeah, now we gotta wait for this one here to dry. And tomorrow, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Maybe I don't know if I'm gonna maybe pre-record the part where I mix the stuff, and then come here and pour it. I'm not sure yet. Or find a hot plate. But yeah, I would like to definitely um, it's pretty good there. It's already drying up. So this one's working fine. That was the one I was working on yesterday. And what's neat about this is you don't even need to condition it. You can, but you don't have to. I built another one and I conditioned literally for a month. This is on DC right now. So it's pretty straightforward. There we go. So, yeah, 1.263. I don't know if you see that. It's very solid. You know, I'm moving around here on the meter. So that's working. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically what I've had in mind for today. It's pretty well a short session, so my apologies for that. Um, can't do much. This takes almost a day to dry completely because it's on the cardboard, and I actually like it because it absorbs it in there, kind of like a fiber, conductive fiber of sorts. So I'm going to give it the time to do its thing since the other one worked out so well. And with that said, again, I'm going to wrap it up and say goodbye for now, and I will get back probably tomorrow. And again, sorry for the glitch earlier on there. I was like trying to figure out why it was telling me I was still live after 4 and some hours. I guess if it would have been real, someone would have said it in the comments by now, you know. We've been watching your dog for the last 4 hours. Where have you been? Because this is a room when I'm not here, right? So you would have seen my dog. So, with that said, have yourselves all a great day or night or whatever it is. And until next time, have all a great day. Thank you all.